A special good morning to all our viewers Welcome to Caribbean American News Media here on the platform. Greetings, my friends. We want to give God the praise and thanks for allowing us to be among the living. There are many, I am sure, who are displaced at this time. There are many who are going through tough times. There's uncertainty, and there are families who are at this time concerned, and they are trying to figure out what's going on with their family members in St. Lucia. But greetings to you, a special good morning to all, top of the morning to you. We are not expecting to have our people on the island on this morning due to electricity outages and disruptions in the internet service. We have been trying from morning to make contact to gather information, but let us just give God a praise. Thank you, Father, for the blessings of the morning. May your name be praised. May your name be praised. All right, so greetings again, friends, and you're on to Caribbean American News Media. For those of you who are trying to get answers on the island right now, we can report to you that there is widespread damage on the island of St. Lucia. We can also say to you that there is no electricity in most parts of the island, and therefore we're having internet issues there. Last night around 12 o'clock, I got an emergency call from my brother where the roof of the house was compromised. That was around 12. And therefore, we tried to call emergency officials. We tried to call the shelter, the information that was given to us for the shelter there in Dennery. And the phone just rang out. Both numbers, no contact. Our emergency services, no contact. So it was very difficult in getting, and so my advice to my brother was to get in one corner of the home, try to secure himself. The last conversation we had was a few minutes after 12, where we could not have gotten emergency support there in Dennery South. I have not gotten any communications this morning from them, none at all. We lost contact about after 12. We are trusting God. We know that water was poured into the house at that point because the roof, was compromised by the weather, strong winds. We were told earlier this morning, we had a report over from St. Vincent and the Grenadines that the advisory there is that the folks remain indoors and allow the hurricane ban to pass. It is still windy and it is still raining. In St. Lucia, there's report of rain and wind on the island. And so we are waiting for a full report. We are sure officials might be walking around trying to figure out what is happening in the different communities. But I can tell you that we lost contact last night after 12. We had absolutely no communications with the folks there. We have a call coming in. Good morning, Brother Ellis. Greetings to you, my brother.
Good morning. Good morning, Garfield.
Good
How
morning.
are you doing?
Well, concern, and I know we had a conversation on communication just this week. And last night I realized how important that investment is in St. Lucia. There was no communication with the emergency personnel there after 12 o'clock last night morning.
Well, Garfield, that's one of the reasons I call you, because, this is something that bothers me. Sorry about that. Let me just back up on something else. It's one of the things that I have always been concerned of from the time I got back to St. Lucia in 1978.
Yeah.
The value that must be put on communications. And we keep on depending on internet. We keep on depending on the service providers. Traditionally, we know we have electricity problems during storms. But I wrote an article, when will they listen? Yeah. When will they listen? We go through this, and this is historical now, right through the islands, that these conglomerate companies can go and bluff the government officials, and they do not want to listen to people from the Caribbean who knows the basics to keep things going. Yeah. And I find myself kind of getting to the point where I just have a little talk power now, because I realize that they just won't listen. Yeah. In a storm like this, a small island, 14 by 21 miles. 14 by 21 miles. We have these breakdowns when it is crucial to get to the people.
Yeah.
And get to the outside world. I provide the weather on mornings, repeat the weather from the Met Office. There's no communications this morning. People cannot get the basic information to know what is the situation with the storm.
Yep.
And it will go on time and time again until somebody gets up and really smells the coffee and realizes enough is enough. Yeah. These big telephone companies are just finding their way to influence the government officials and not doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that we have reliable, hard reinforced communications for the people of St. Lucia.
Yep, as you said, right now so it is blackout. There is like, nothing is going on. You can't communicate. I mean,
I would like to know. Like to know, Garfield. Now, the police stations that the government of St. Lucia has allowed the service provider, one of them, to provide communications for the police network, whether this system is working, because I have challenged that. I've challenged that at home. The police said, no problem, we have backup. We do have all kinds of things. Can the police station in Castries speak to the police station in Beaufort today? I would like to know that. And I hope somebody can give me the answer. Can they talk to Labrie and Chazelle? Because that is where the government has spent a lot of money to one of these service providers. I think it's digital, to be exact. And I'm not afraid to call names.
Yeah.
To see if the police still have the communications that they invest millions of dollars into, to make sure that they still have communications, because that is what is required when we have these storms. And they put the police communications, and from what I understand, dependent on internet and the service providers.
Yep.
And I would like to find out if the police have communications today. And I'm going to talk about that because if it's the last breath I have, I'm going to make sure that my voice is heard. They have to take it serious. Has there been any evaluation? You know, Garfield, long ago, not too long ago, because I don't want to sound like I was in the days of Tarzan and Moses.
Right.
That when the hurricane season comes about, there was a total shutdown of power in St. Lucia. The electricity services will shut down the power so that we can evaluate our backup services to see what effect it will have on the country. That is not done anymore. For years, that has not been done. So when things like that happen today, you know that people are going to be left in the dark. You wouldn't know what happened in Fort Saint-Jacques. You wouldn't know what happened in Micoud. You wouldn't know what happened in Labrie and Chazelle. A small 14 by 21 mile island, that's crazy.
It is, yeah. Because last night I experienced something last night. I experienced something last night after 12 o'clock that, I had on one hand my brother scared to death in the darkness, tried to reach out. The roof is compromised. Water is coming in. He calls the emergency system over and over, trying to get help. Nothing. He reached out to me. I tried to call the numbers for the emergency that was given to us. No response. I kept calling. We kept calling. It was just a dead situation last night, and I will join with you in speaking about this communication problem that we're having at every disaster. We have been doing this for far too long, and we're getting it wrong all the time with our communication system and law enforcement, our emergency personnel. They should not be relying only on internet service.
That's the problem. And you hear in every disaster about wind-up radios. We have a country, St. Lucia, that has a limited road network. Yeah. Landslides, flooding, block off communities. The government have to look at making sure that every citizen have a wind-up radio. A wind-up radio is a radio that can be activated by internal means. By what I mean. Yes. It has a little dynamo inside, a generator to make sure you don't even need batteries.
Yeah.
You don't even need batteries for the radio.
Yeah.
Then you need to have community radios operated by the disaster agencies, so that in Soufrière, just to give you a little example, in Soufrière, the people of St. Lucia should be able to turn on a transistor radio, a wind-up radio, and get information from the disaster agency in Soufrière. At least they can be able to get information as to what is happening and get feedback. And the police stations and the fire stations, I was responsible. I can tell you that there's equipment installed in the fire department in St. Lucia, in Soufrière. And there's equipment that in the Soufrière police station, that the Soufrière and the fire station and the hospital in Soufrière can communicate between themselves in Soufrière. That was never done before my time in St. Lucia. So the fire couldn't talk to police. The police couldn't talk to the hospital. Even if they're separated from Castries, there's a lot of things that need to be taken seriously. But you see, the government have to pay attention. I would like to ask the question whether the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre, has visited NEMO, which has fallen under his jurisdiction, and really understand the workings of NEMO. You hear him on TV now. You had the report. He came on and he speak and he gave talking to St. Lucians and talking about NEMO. But has he really understood, or has he get a full understanding of what is required for a national emergency management organization to operate efficiently? Everybody will blame the director now, but the director hands are tied. If the man who is in charge of that department doesn't pay, I sympathize with Maria Maynard. I sympathize with her because she took over from the former director, and she took over in trying times. There has not been any support for that lady. She doesn't have a deputy. There's no telecommunications officer in there that has any competency to even know what's going on. There's a lot of things. I'm going to talk about it because when the disaster comes in times like these, that's when you see the real disaster. It happens in the different departments in St. Lucia. So, Garfield, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm very concerned, and I'm going to talk it out. I'm in Toronto now, and unfortunately, I'll say unfortunately, I can't help my friends down there who I know need my help. I know the ham radio fraternity is doing well. I'd like to say good morning to them if any of them listening. But you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
It's people like you that you're doing a great job because it's satellites outside St. Lucia.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just take 1 minute to explain what I mean by that.
Talk to me.
We depend on satellite communications to speak to other parts of the Caribbean, to reach parts of the world.
Yeah.
So you and me at this time are like satellites that can get information to St. Lucia that we cannot get from Castries to Ancillary or Castries to Canaries or Castries to Mico or Dennery, your favorite area. That's why you don't come to where I live.
Exactly. Exactly.
But if it wasn't for people like you outside as a satellite, St. Lucia, a lot of the people in St. Lucia wouldn't have communications.
Yes, because last night I saw with the emergency with NEMO, they were having a live broadcast and they were interrupted. They kept saying, "Well, we had power outage and we have issues in communication." And I was shocked that a national emergency organization complains about power and complains about communications. And they're the ones feeding the people of St. Lucia, supposed to be feeding us with information, and they're being interrupted.
Because that's exactly what I have been working on. But you see, unfortunately, we had COVID, and COVID took over, caused a lot of problems. But there was a major problem in Montreal and in Toronto area. Under the ground, traveling, and you have uninterrupted internet under the ground. And you tell me a 14 by 21 miles, we cannot get robust, reliable communications?
Yep. I believe, and one thing I would recommend is that the police emergency unit should have their own dish or something, that they can. I mean, they can stay connected, and the two-way radio is something that we got to speak about. We got to put a lot of emphasis there. But it is time for us to take policing, to a different level. The medical hospital, our hospitals should be well equipped with proper communications with the police, as you said, with the hospital, with the even the prime minister, even the prime minister's residence or wherever he is, his office, he should be able to have full communication with all his emergency people.
They're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. They will quickly go on TV when there's a storm, when a hurricane, and say, "Oh, this and that and that and that." But before that, they not try. I don't want to say too much here because I have a lot more to talk about. Right. But I want to say this. I would just like somebody in St. Lucia to call you and tell you from a police station, whether the police headquarters with the no power situation, if the police stations still have reliable communications as indicated by the person in charge of that communications and also by the amount of money that is paid to the service provider whoever, whichever company that took on the job from government to provide communications for the police. Do we have reliable communications when there's no electricity? That's what I'd like to find out.
All right.
And this is the perfect time to test the system and tell St. Lucians how the police, the premier agency depending on security for the country, and the Prime Minister should get a full report on that. Whichever Prime Minister is there now, because they might have two or three.
That's right.
Have a good day, Garfield.
You too. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. So there we have it, my friends. That's our communication expert there, Mr. Ellis. Right now he's out of St. Lucia, and he is the communication expert when it comes to non-internet communication, such as the two-way radio. They can connect islands together, different countries together, different communities together during the disaster. So it is something that we got to watch. We got to keep before the people. We got to keep the fire, the pressure on. We must ensure that we can communicate during major disasters with our emergency personnel. And what we will do, seeing that we have just started the hurricane season and we are expecting a very active season. Tonight, this week was a test for the people of the Caribbean. It was a test especially for the people of St. Lucia. We will do the postmortem. We will look back at strategies, what went wrong. We will criticize. We will give due sorry about that. I'm just trying to look at the we'll give due praise when it is necessary. But for now, one of the second major issue that we have is that our shelters were closed, and NEMO said to us last night that the shelters will be open after the disaster because it's expensive, basically, to open all our shelters. We are hearing now from St. Vincent that their shelters are open, fully functional, with volunteers and supplies. We also heard from NEMO in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that over 100 and something persons are in shelters as we speak. Over 100 and something individuals have been rescued. They are in, some persons had to be removed from their homes because of the wave and the high wind. St. Vincent is reporting damage to residential homes on the island, and so we're just awaiting communications there in St. Lucia. Yesterday we communicated, as I said, with the numbers that were given to us last night, and we, to no avail, we could not have gotten anything at all. Stick with us, folks. We are here with updates on Tropical Storm Brett. Some people are reporting that they're okay. There's no damage to their properties. There's electricity in some areas there in St. Lucia. It is still raining. We have persons still driving on some of the roadway where we have down lines and trees. I'm looking at, and let me just try to bring it over to this screen so that you can see it. This is a fresh video coming in, I believe, to our desks. We're going to bring it over to the main system. You know how we do it, folks. It's a little difficult. Just bear with me. I'm going to give you some eyes. Let's get something up there. We have a video feed. And we're going to get it up to the main board here. My friends, this is what we do. We're here to dedicate ourselves as much as we can to assist, to volunteer, to help. While for some it's all about money and everything else, we are just here, friends, to render our support. And sometimes when I sit to you, you got to get involved, especially with our coffee, with our Buy Me a Book or the star system. It's very important. Amen. So let's go over to a clip that just came in. It just got in, and I suspect they'll be coming in now. Here we go. I'm not sure where this is, but persons are still taking the chance. They're still out there. Not sure if this is this morning. Okay, let's see our chat room if we have any reporting. Okay, we have Rachel Smith. Good morning, Garfield. What's the status? We have no report from Dennery at all. Zero. Nothing from Dennery. Last night around 12 o'clock, I had an emergency call from my brother. Our roof was compromised. Water started coming in. The galvanized got ripped off. I'm not sure the condition of that roof now, if it's completely gone, but he was panicking. It was dark, he said. It was scary. And, he tried to call 911 emergency for backup. I personally tried to call the shelter, the numbers that was given to us for the person, Mr. Regis there in Dennery, who is responsible for the emergency response, and to no avail. We kept calling, and then while I'm on the phone with my brother, we lost communication, and up to this minute, we have not gotten a word. So right now we are in the dark with him. We don't know what happened, whether the emergency folks came to get him out of the home, but there is absolutely no communication right now with us and Dennery South. None right now. I'm not sure, folks, what you are hearing, those of you who have families there, what are you hearing? What is going on? You can call us, let us know. Let's get the phone line busy, because there are families who are dependent on us right now to keep this community together. And thank God for this network where we can come together. I lost a lot of sleep. My voice is going. I was up last night trying my best to touch base with people, and I couldn't do anything. It was very sad for me. And what I did is I took off the light. I stayed in the darkness just to feel what they're feeling, just to put myself in their position. And I wish that we had many more leaders like that in our communities, who feel the pinch, to feel the pain of the people and can sympathize with them. We do not have much of those leaders because if we had leaders in our country, in our communities, with a heart, a lot of the stuff that we're hearing would not be. A lot of things we're hearing would not be, such as shelters being closed because of no money. We're not going to open the shelter until after the storm. Last night, I am saying to you that we tried to communicate to no avail. A family in distress. And I'm sure that we will hear stories upon stories as the day go by. We have Edwin is saying, I can't hear my family in Denry. Richard said her son texts this morning. He just said, hi, Mom, and that's it. Let's keep going. Arnold, welcome to the platform. Raymond is saying, I can't reach anyone at home in Lakai. We're concerned about Lakai also. We're concerned about Denry South and the whole, about the matter of fact, the whole island we're concerned about. Charles, I try reaching my people in Denry to no avail. Okay, so we having some, if we can just only get somebody on the line. Let's see if we can get onto our shelter there in Castries North. I believe we did a call last night. Let's see if we can retrace. Let's see if we can get to that call there in Castries. Let's see if there's any report. So we have Hippolytus saying, I can't get to my people in Swazel. Beverly, I tried calling my family this morning. No one is answering. Morning, Miss Hood over on YouTube, and Sylvia, Donovan, Gloriana, all my friends. Thank you so much for the kind words. So that is Castries. We have no communication there. So they said the shelters will be open this morning. People should call, and we have, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, but at least we can wait. We can wait to see. Okay, let's try to make some other calls.
Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. I'm just touching base this morning. We're live on the air. Just touching base to ensure that you're okay. What is happening in your area? Morning.
Good morning. We all right. I did not wake up too long ago, so I'm not too sure, but it looks, it seems like we okay in the north. Well, I don't know for a fact. I'm just calling around to see what's going on with people. Sorry, to find out whether they've got electricity, if they lost anything, but no one has reported anything to me yet. I'm not sure that the full storm has gone past over us, because when I looked at Carla weather this morning, I realized that part of that storm had still not gone past St. Lucia and St. Vincent.
No.
So I do not think that this system is over. Though it is not raining heavily, there's no wind, no heavy wind like last night. It's calmed down in the north. There was a bit of rain, a little bit, just a little while ago. However, I think we just have to wait for some more rain. There may be wind again. I'm not sure. The system is not completely over. I just heard someone say it's gone past St. Lucia, and it's just the remnants we're getting. But what I'm seeing from Carla weather is that a good bit of the system has not gone past us. So I don't know if people want to verify. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from our Met office, so I don't know if they're even in operation right now.
Yeah, because I had emergency last night around 12 with my brother who needed emergency help. The roof got compromised in Dennery. We tried to reach out to all all of the emergency people, and not one. He was just stuck last night. Couldn't get support. There in Denver South.
The police,
Repeat?
Yeah, the police and everybody else that was around Henry. He could not have shot them. I guess with that heavy rain and stuff down there, he couldn't have done anything.
No, he could not have gotten any support at that time, and that's why I was concerned when I heard the government saying to people that the shelters are too costly, so we will open them after the storm, and I know the trend is that you would open your shelters just like St. Vincent. St. Vincent right now there's 130 or 40 something persons who were placed in shelters, fully functional shelters.
I saw that.
And also Barbados.
I saw that this morning.
Barbados,
I saw that people were in shelters. We put them there last night. So St. Lucia needs to, I don't know what's going on, but I thought the shelters used to be open for anybody who wanted to come in. However, this year it seems to have changed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Because I honestly don't know.
I'm not saying I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I am speechless.
Yes.
I am speechless.
I'm going to continue. I was just saying, I'm going to continue making some more calls.
Okay, no problem. And then
so I can see. I wanted to take a drive this morning, but I said, let me check and see first if that system has gone past. And when I looked at Carla weather, it was about 6:30 minutes to 7. The system had not gone past us yet completely.
Right, there is
figured,
still.
You know what, I'm not gonna...
Yeah, the last thing I checked early this morning was that the last report is that they were asking persons to stay indoors.
That's right.
Yeah, the advisory is still in effect. So we will monitor that. And we will...
Yeah, we need to stress on that people need to stay indoors still, because it appears in the north of the island, it appears that the storm is over. But in reality, it is not.
Okay.
It's not done. So I'm going to make some more calls. I'll see if anyone can forward me some photos, etc. If they had any damages. Okay. And then I can send that back to you. And I will call the show back a little later.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Okay.
Okay, that was good news. At least we were able to connect with our caller there in St. Lucia. And we're hearing that, she's okay. In Grosley, there seems to be some parts Seems to be calm. Arnold is saying St. Lucia is running on autopilot. Running on autopilot. Folks, if you have any information, please share with us. We're just fishing around for information. Let me see if I could get someone in Castries. Okay, so there is no. We're still trying, folks. We're here. Caribbean American News is not on autopilot. We're here with you, and that's our commitment. All right. I would imagine that they would be experiencing internet shortage, and that's would be one of the reason why we're not being able to contact certain people. Okay, so we're hearing that the Hot FM. Let's see here. Might be carrying something. Let's see if we can do a hookup with Hot FM. Just stick with us, folks. So we have a report here from St. Vincent. There's a report here from Nemo Vinlec, the electricity company, reported that 50% of their customers are without power, as 9 feeders on mainland are not functional. Power outage also reported in Beckway, St. Vincent. All right. Marie saying, I'm safe in Barbados. Spoke to my kids in Soufrière, St. Lucia, and they are okay, just a lot of water in my house. Wow. A lot of water in the house. Searchlight St. Lucia report 1 minute ago in St. Vincent. No Cape exam in SVG today, Friday, June 23rd. That's from the Ministry of Education in St. Lucia. We heard, yes, we will still have it. It will still go forward. Report out of Barbados. Government Information Service in Barbados. Met weather update, all clear. The Grantley Adams International Airport will be open at 7 a.m. The Grantley Adams International Airport in Barbados will be open at 7 a.m. The Transport Board will resume bus service at 7:30 a.m. in Barbados. School is closed. Okay. So we have Doris who said, spoke to my kids, no water, power, and internet is down. Spoke to my kids, no water, power, and internet. So all utilities are down. All right, Miss Doris. So we have Swazel, Hippolyte, Industrial Swazel. Are you okay? That's a question for those in Swazel. Okay, folks, I'm just trying to get an update here. So we're hearing also that there is no electricity in Wapatat from last night into this morning. There's also a report that the storm has passed close to St. Lucia and not over, but St. Lucia is still experiencing the effects of that storm. All right, so we might be heading over to the Government Information Service. Today is the 23rd. Okay, we're going to bring you over to the government service. We're going to bring the government service over here to you. I know many of you prefer this platform, so I am going to bring an update from the government of St. Lucia, from NEMO. All right, just hold on with me. I'm going to bring it over here, so at least you do not have to go leave the platform. You'll be here. We'll be in one area, one place. All right. So stay tuned. Let me just bring over that link. Yes, we're going to bring over government service here. Bear with us. That's why we got to get our team together. Yes, so okay, it's coming through now. We're going to take you over to the response from NEMO. We will get a full update from them. So let's go over. Okay, let's just get the internet up.
Persons to get an assessment of what's on ground before proceeding to have any form of intervention to clear roads and give an assessment.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy you mentioned that there weren't too many call-outs, and of course we know that our essential services are stretched. Okay, so I want to join you in commending St. Lucian citizens for, as you said, heeding the sound instructions to remain at home and not to put themselves in harm's way. And we heard Mr. Joye earlier, and given this preliminary report, and we are so thankful that we are away from the brunt of the storm. But how do you foresee your role over the next few hours?
Well, thanking the commissioner was actually in, and the fire chief with a few officers who were on. The transition would still be, whereas the operation center maybe stood down, we will still have a presence here to receive calls and log it in and still direct persons. That's what has to be done until maybe the end of the, where we actually shut down operation in going forward. But we are hoping that we don't get too many more reports, or persons who need to get that information across would find some way or some other person who could report on their behalf, so we know exactly where we stand and what has to be done. But we know, whereas we're going to scale down or turn off the operations of the operation center, we will still have a presence of persons there manning the phones and documenting what it is, but it will be almost life back as normal.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Lake, and I'm sure throughout the course of the day you will keep us updated on what's happening.
Yes.
Sure. So there you have it, and of course we want to encourage you to call in and let us know what is happening. As far as activities scheduled for today are concerned, of course, you would imagine that all of those activities have been cancelled. Public Service Day celebration would have been today, and of course that fair, which was scheduled for the Derek Walcott Square, of course, has been cancelled for today. There was also, I think, it was a business incubator for persons with especially with disabilities, or differently able persons, I should say, and that too has been cancelled. And of course, you would appreciate that we can't be having activities like those in such inclement weather. So for persons who were preparing or still wondering whether those were taking place, those activities, all activities rather, have been cancelled as a result of the storm.
Okay, folks, so we're still monitoring the news. We're here at NTN, and based on what we're hearing, that the command center is back to normal, but they'll be accepting calls. It is just 7:38 in the a.m. I'm not sure if they got reports from Dennery, from the outer communities. But all I know is that we missed earlier the live update. This is Tom. All right, so we're just awaiting more information there on the platform. I believe we're uploading some reports. Okay, let's see. And we have a report from Nemo again. A tropical warning is still in effect for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Please stay indoors until all clear has been given. We know Barbados. Okay, so Hot FM is on. So what we will do is that we will disconnect. We will disconnect and we will reconnect a little later on. Let's allow persons to go over to Hot FM. We will invite you to go over to Hot FM so that you can get the feed. You can get the information. Let's go back to NTN for a minute.
Good morning, Mr. Philip.
Hi, good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning to the police officers across the island. I want to thank you for weathering the storm and ensuring that we keep St. Lucia safe. So far, as has been reported in the northern sector, that is from Grizzly to Richford, we have had no serious reports of any damage or loss of life or injuries associated with the storm. On the western coast, it has been reported in Soufrière. We have some fallen trees. Access to Fort Saint-Jacques is limited because we have fallen trees on the Touray and on the Myers Bridge. We have already contacted infrastructure and NIMO to try to clear as soon as possible. In the Library village, it was reported that there are some blown off roofs or galvanized in the village, and the Library Village Council is already on it. Viewfort seemed to our preliminary assessment. We have some partial damage to the roofs of the post-sec and the preschool next to the special ed school. On the Masha station reported a few fallen trees in the Tirushi area. Yes. On the west coast, nothing serious has been reported, but we have the officers out in the Lacroix area with chainsaws doing some clearing of the streets. We have already asked for infrastructure to go out and start clearing of the roads to make access as easy as possible for commuters so that emergency services can try to restore a state of normalcy as soon as possible.
Okay, in terms of security, were there any concerns, any hurdles, any breaches, what have you?
In terms of, it was reported that there was one burglary in the city last night. I don't have the fine details, I don't have the intimate details of that burglary as yet, but it's not something that you should panic about. These things are normal as in any other day, but I'll tell you, we had officers in full force on the ground last night, and our officers are already on the ground assisting with trying to restore a state of normalcy. Okay, so throughout the day we should be seeing a strong presence of the police. Well, the officers are already on the officers are already on the streets. Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Philip. Thank you, ma'am. All right, and I wish you and your staff the best. We know that it's not easy going through a situation like that. You want to safeguard your family, at the same time you have a duty to perform to protect the nation. Yes, and for persons we're asking persons to remain indoors. The all clear is not given. The more persons you have out during this time, it makes the work of the essential services a little more difficult. We know that some persons sometimes are willing to help, but we are asking as much as possible to try to minimize coming out on the road, because we still have issues with electrical wires and what have you, and we don't want anybody to put themselves in any sort of unnecessary risk or danger.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that was the Acting Police Commissioner, Mr. Ronald Phillip, and in just a little while we'll be having Mr. Ditney Downs from the St. Lucia Fire Service, who will also be giving us some information on the end of the St. Lucia Fire Service. So we encourage you to continue to listen to Stormwatch, and of course, very importantly, to ensure that the information you get is from the official sources, NEMO, the Met Services, and nowhere else.
Okay, folks, so we're asking you to go over to the to Hot FM so that you can follow the live coverage there on the island. And I am hearing the encouragement to listen only to official source. I'm not sure if there's any other source that we can listen to, but the Weather Center outside of the Caribbean also, which is more accurate, Miami, the United Kingdom. Okay, folks, so see you a little later on. Blessings.